The Man Without a Face by Masha Gessen offers a deeply personal examination of Russian Prime Minister Vladimir Putin and his controversial past. Gessen delves into the shadowy figure behind the United Russia Party, which has been widely criticized as a faction of criminals and corrupt officials. She presents a compelling case that Putin has not only turned a blind eye to, but has actively endorsed and facilitated illegal activities such as bribery and nepotism during his tenure as prime minister. This, she argues, has led to the widespread corruption of the state and a government that has earned the distrust of many Russians. Born in the Soviet Union and emigrating to the United States at 14, Gessen later returned to Moscow, where she now lives with her own family. Despite her personal connections to Russia, she acknowledges the fear she felt while writing this book, knowing she was exposing the darkest secrets of a man whose adversaries have mysteriously died, often without any apparent cause. In her interviews, Gessen speaks with Marina Saleh, a former leader of a democratic movement in St. Petersburg, formerly Leningrad, during the final years of the Soviet Union. Saleh witnessed Putin's ascent from a low-ranking KGB operative to the figurehead of the Kremlin. Fearing the reach of Putin and the KGB, Saleh now lives in self-imposed exile in a remote Russian village. Gessen argues that Putin is not merely turning a blind eye to corruption, but is a key architect of it. According to insiders, including a former KGB officer, Putin does not view stealing as a moral failing, but rather as an accepted norm within his system. Saleh, in her own investigation, uncovered details of Putin's activities under Leningrad's mayor Anatoly Sobchak. In the early post-Soviet years, the central government in Moscow was financially strained and granted local authorities more autonomy, including the power to issue export licenses. The hope was that empowering local entities to export valuable resources like oil, diamonds, and nickel would bolster the Russian economy. Putin was one of those entrusted with this power and capitalized on it, approving billions of dollars in export deals with companies he personally selected. Although Putin was a lawyer with a strong understanding of contractual law, most of the exports under his supervision were undocumented, and the contracts he created were legally invalid. The firms involved in these exports typically took commissions that amounted to more than a third of the contract's value, yet the food promised in exchange for materials never arrived. Saleh's investigation uncovered a staggering $900 million in unaccounted funds. She called for a criminal inquiry into the matter and Putin's immediate removal from his position, but nothing came of it. The threats Saleh received were so severe that she refuses to speak about them, and she eventually relocated to a remote village in the Russian countryside for her safety. Gessen, the editor of the Russian magazine Snob, was among the first journalists to pursue a lead that Putin had used these illicit funds to build a lavish personal palace on the Black Sea coast. Beyond his financial misdeeds, Putin is also infamous for his dark tactics, including a series of poisonings during his tenure as prime minister. Gessen cites Anna Politkovskaya, a journalist known for her vocal opposition to Putin, who was shot dead after being poisoned on his birthday. While there have been many similar cases of dissidents dying from poison, no direct link to Putin has ever been proven. Despite his criminal activities, Putin has carefully crafted an image of a tough, fair leader, one who punishes the guilty but is generous to his allies. His patriotism and strongman persona further bolster his appeal, presenting him as a defender of the Russian people. This carefully cultivated image has allowed him to maintain his grip on power. As long as he can continue to project the role of a man of the people, Putin's rule is likely to persist, at least until his corruption reaches a point where it becomes unsustainable. His tough guy image convinces many that he will do whatever it takes to protect the nation, even though his actions may, in fact, be eroding the very country he claims to protect. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy this video, leave a like and subscribe.